Hello, good afternoon. I'm Raimo from Estonian e-Residency team,
Hello, I'm Aet, also from e-Residency.
and you are joining our regular e-Residency live Q&A, where we are going to talk about what is e-Residency, how it works, who should think of applying for e-Residency, and also we are going to give an overview of why and how to start a company in Estonia and what does it take to get started. We have some lovely guests today as well. Let's take a minute or two for gathering. In the meantime, people, you are welcome to introduce yourself in the chat or say hi and maybe give us a hint where are you joining right now, because definitely there are people from different time zones as well here.
Different climate.
Different climate, definitely. We have a pretty beautiful, almost summer-like day today here in Tallinn, in Estonia.
It's weird. Just this weekend I was wearing my winter coat and today it's summer. It's 20 degrees in Estonia, it's summer.
Yeah, it's summer. And now a little bit about housekeeping as well. During the webinar, as the name says, it's live Q&A. It means that you are welcome to ask a lot of questions. For that, we use a live Q&A tab. So if you have any questions that you would like the presenters or us to answer in a written form or by voice, then please do add your questions to the live Q&A tab. You can find it here in the Zoom on below usually. Chat is for chatting, sharing your experience, saying hi to anyone, but we are not taking questions from chat. And another thing I would like to point out is that if there is someone who is sharing invites to the social media groups, visit to the websites and etc., then they are not official groups of e-Residency, but then privately initiated groups or chats where you're welcome to join, but we are not in charge of the quality and the content of these groups. But I think that we can start soon. What else we would like to point out?
Maybe what about the slides later on?
Yeah, there is definitely a question that do you get slides later? Yes, you will get them. After the webinar today already, there will be a QR code on the last slide where you can scan already and download the slides there. Also, we'll give the feedback. But you will get also follow-up email by us soon, which gives you the same options, basically. Anyway, we have lovely guests today here as well. In addition to us, there is also one of our service providers, Xolo, present, and the e-resident guest as well. But let's get started. So we have me and Aet here. So there is Shade from Xolo. She knows everything about their product, their services, and also she's an expert in helping e-residents starting and improving their companies. And then we have Krunoslav, which is an interesting situation for us here. We have today e-resident who is going to share shortly his story, but he is at the same time also a service provider for other e-residents. So we are talking about the e-Residency marketplace later, and his company EVAT is part of our marketplace as well. Anyway, as said, we are going to talk about how to become e-resident, how to start a company, and a little bit about taxation as well. But definitely this is like only like very high level short overview of what it is and how it works, just to give you some broad ideas. We are not giving expert tax advice here today, and we are not experts in taxation ourselves as well.
However, though it's not topic today, we have recordings of different webinars in YouTube that cover taxation more in detail.
Yes. But I would like to give floor to Xolo now. Shada, floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome. And I'm Shade, as I was already introduced, and I'm part of the customer service for Solo. So I just want to tell you that you're looking into the residency program. It's already fantastic. Already, you already know that because it opens up the world for opportunities in running your business online and everywhere around the world. So that is great. And just so you know, Solo's job is designed to make that process incredibly smooth. So what we do and what will help you is navigating the company setup, accounting, and compliance in everything that it's or can be complex for you, but maybe it's not that much. So, especially when you are across borders and you are not very, don't have much knowledge about how this works, that we are going to learn today, of course. And to simplify everything, Solo helps you with launching your company easily. Okay, we guide you through the registration process and taking away the administrative hassle. Also, we help you manage the finances effortlessly. So our platform gives you a clear overview of your business, helps you send the professional invoices, and integrates with payment gateways, with several of the most used ones like Stripe, PayPal, and also Solo helps you with ensuring the compliance is complete, or well, the compliance is it's correct. So we have a team of expert accountants that is specialized in the Estonian residency laws. So you can rest assured that your accounting and tax obligations are handled accurately. So think of this way, like Solo provides the tools and expertise to handle the must-dos for you to run your business, from setting up the company and managing your finances, staying compliant, and you can do and focus on what you do best, that is basically running and growing your business. So as you will see in the next slide, we offer different plans to suit various business needs. All you need to do is to let us know your business activity so we can review it, and you can only pay for what you require. So in short, Solo empowers you to take full advantage of the residency by providing a seamless, efficient, and reliable platform for managing your company from anywhere around the world. So yeah, let's get those questions.
Yes, thank you, Shada. We are going to cover the questions soon. But now Aet will give a short overview of what e-residency is and how to apply.
Okay. So what e-residency is, Raimo is showing me the slides. But one of the things I was thinking today, we kind of jump into that e-residency is a digital identity without maybe giving the context that, in Estonia, all the services are online. So we're kind of used to, rather than going to the tax office or to use paper and pen for signing, we're used to doing everything online. And it's so easy to kind of forget it, that it's not like that everywhere in the world. So as we are benefiting from it, Estonia decided that why can't foreigners as well? So even though if you are not visiting Estonia or traveling to Estonia, you can apply for Estonian digital identity document, yes, and access those e-services. So this document enables you to sign into the e-services and also give a digital signature that is compliant with the eIDAS regulation in EU. Most of the e-services available for non-residents are business-related. So the biggest value for e-residents is actually establishing and managing a company entirely online. And since we have so many people already joined e-residency and established companies, there's a growing community from who you can ask questions from and also collaborate with.
But at the same time,
a lot of questions we get that can you travel with e-residency? E-residency is not a travel document. It doesn't display a photo, and it doesn't also give you any benefits for like traveling to Europe. It's not a visa, and it doesn't give you any eligibility to travel visa free. It's not a citizenship, and it's also not a tax residency. So one of the things that people ask, if I become an e-resident, do I become also a tax resident of Estonia? No, you will not. Your personal taxation will remain in the country where you live. Also, very important to notice or point out, e-residency is an Estonian government-issued document, and it enables you to register a company online, but it doesn't grant you automatically access to banking services. Banks are private sector, and they have the right to choose who they service. And e-residency mainly is focused for business, so you can apply for a business banking account, but it doesn't help you get a personal bank account unless you're actually living in a certain country. So who can apply? E-residency is only granted to individuals, which means that you can apply for e-residency as you as a person, but not if you're a company owner. So you cannot apply e-residency for a company. You would apply for e-residency if you have interest in using Estonian e-services, as mentioned before, whether you want to register and operate a business, or maybe you're working in a scientific area and you want to conduct research, and to access those e-services and resources, you will need an e-residency card. Those who cannot apply for e-residency are Estonian citizens and residents, because we already have our ID cards that give us the access to these services. And we currently also have restrictions from new applications from Russian or Belarusian citizens. In the future, we may have a little bit more restrictions from countries with who Estonia doesn't have a good cooperation framework. Did I miss something?
No, I don't think so.
All covered. Okay. Why would one become an e-resident? So, as mentioned many times, you can register a company and you can manage it online. So you can register it quickly, 15 minutes if you want. And you don't have to come to Estonia to do any legal changes because you can do it online. So it helps you keep on the travel costs and enables you to travel if you wish. It gives you secure access to all the e-services, and you can also sign documents with the highest data standards and join the community. And how to become an e-resident. So if you want to become an e-resident, first you need to submit your application online and then wait for approval. The Estonian Police and Border Guard Board is the state agency who is reviewing your applications. Once you get your approval, it usually happens within a couple of weeks to maximum a month. You will receive an email that you have been granted e-residency. With this email, new e-residents also get an access to my e-residency portal, which helps them to prepare for company registration and also to track where their document is. So you wait for approval and then you wait for your card to be delivered. The card is a physical item currently, and it will be delivered to your pickup location within usually 2 to 5 weeks. You can pick up your document from an embassy or mobile pickup locations that we have across the world. You need to do it in person, because when you're collecting your document, you need to provide your fingerprints, and they also need to review you as a person that you match the application. Once you have collected your card, you're almost ready to set it up. Sometimes the activation of the certificates can take up to 24 hours.
Now, some words about pickup locations as well.
We have a lot of pickup locations, over 30 plus locations over the world. Most of the pickup locations are Estonian embassies. So when you submit the application, you need to also choose which location you want to collect your document. We understand if you're traveling a lot, it is maybe a little bit difficult to figure out where you're going to be in 1 month. But we do advise you to try to think those steps through, because changing the pickup location is not so straightforward or easy. Sending documents, it's a diplomatic post. So Estonian embassies, pickup locations, you can collect there, but we also have another type of pickup locations, and those are the mobile pickup locations. When from Estonian embassy, you can collect your document within the working days. If you have made an appointment, then with mobile pickup locations, usually the consular missions happen like 3 or 4 times a year. So it takes more time for you to get your document. This is one of the things to consider when choosing a pickup location.
And some fresh news, not from this year.
From this year, we have Buenos Aires, São Paulo, and Bangkok added as pickup locations.
Yeah, Buenos Aires is first time ever opened this year, and São Paulo was reopened. So there are much better pickup opportunities now in Southern America compared to previous years.
Yes.
But now we have our first Q&A session coming up. Let's see whether we have any questions that we can already answer right now. There is a question about do we have an equivalent of sole proprietor in Estonia? As an e-resident, you cannot act as a sole proprietor, and to be honest, it would be unreasonable to register one in Estonia because having a company in Estonia is much easier and more efficient than actually registering yourself as sole proprietor. But yes, no way you can register yourself as a sole proprietor in case of e-residency.
It's not more expensive in Estonia to register an OÜ in compared to sole proprietor. And it's not more difficult either.
There is a question about if someone is from a country which will be potentially restricted in the future, does it mean that they cannot reapply?
It's not black and white. So with those cases, if it's not a new application but renewal of the application, you will be reviewed case by case.
Exactly. But I think now it's good time to move on with company formation because we see also that the questions that are submitted here are mostly related to the business side of e-residency. Now, I would like to introduce you our very special e-resident guest today. Krunoslav, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Krunoslav will give a short overview of his story as an e-resident and a little bit about his company as well.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Krunoslav. I'm originally from Croatia. I'm proud e-resident from 2017. At the moment, managing two companies. Started with Pulus Consulting 2017 as a service company and pivoted to a software, which is evat.com, compliance management platform for e-commerce and digital businesses. We are focused on compliance connected to VAT, and we are helping businesses that want to scale globally, sell globally, to be compliant in different countries. I can just say that e-residency provided me the opportunity to build a company and be remote. As you can see, you cannot see, but I can tell you that I'm now currently in Berlin, Germany. So even that I'm from Croatia, I didn't know exactly where I will be in the next years, and I was looking for the opportunity to have a company and manage it remotely. And e-residency was the best option I could find, and I can only say positive things about it. I'm really happy that exists and that I managed to become e-residency and manage to build and grow my companies through the program.
Can I ask a question from you?
Please.
Like what has been the most surprising of running your business that way compared to how you were used to run your businesses before?
The biggest thing is digitalization and simplicity of the process. So I don't need to go anywhere. I can be wherever I want and do everything online. So it's so simple, so easy. You can communicate everything through digital channels, sign everything digitally, and it makes a huge difference when you are building and managing a company. It's totally stress-free, let's say. Even if you have a stress process like, I don't know, tax investigation, you can literally do it also online and digitally, which is really beneficial.
Talk us a little bit about your company as well. I added a slide about EVT right now.
Thank you. Yeah. So EVT, as I already said, it's a compliance management platform. We are focused on helping e-commerce and digital businesses to become and stay compliant when selling globally. We are currently servicing up to more than 30 countries. And usually we are focused on companies that are selling goods, because for them it's more complex to be compliant, especially if they're using warehouses and storing their goods in different countries. So it's, for example, Amazon sellers or Shopify sellers that are selling from different locations. And we are focused on automatizing the whole process from the VAT registration, analyzing of each transaction, creating invoices, preparing VAT returns, managing communication with the tax authorities, and generally helping businesses to scale when they want to open a new markets. So this is in short what we are doing. And from January, we became also part of the e-commerce marketplace. So we are also focused on supporting and helping other e-residents when they want to build, run, and grow their business globally.
Thank you, Krunoslav. I'm pretty sure we have an opportunity to ask some questions from you later as well, or actually the audience will ask.
Yeah,
Anyway,
please, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you one more time for having me.
So I will go through quickly the basics of company formation in Estonia, in the sense that why to do it. I think I had already covered most of it when talking about benefits of becoming e-resident, and as Kronoslav also proved that probably the easiness of starting, running, and growing the business is the main benefit you can experience when becoming an e-resident and starting an Estonian company. As said, we have the high security standards, the digital signature system, and all the infrastructure behind it has proved to be safe cybersecurity wise. Also, there are a lot of backup systems for Estonian state data. So even in case of physical accidents in Estonia, then your data is still stored somewhere safe outside Estonia as well. So this gives definitely a high trust to the services Estonia is able to provide for entrepreneurs. Also, we are going to talk about the ecosystem a bit later as well, but especially for startup founders all around the world, Estonia has proved to be a really good ecosystem to, especially in the earlier stages, to get started with startups, to develop ideas, MVPs, to find first partners as well as first investors. We have very active angel investors seen in Estonia. And also, what's also important to note that many of the opportunities, grants, state support measures that are available for Estonian companies created by Estonians, they are also open for Estonian companies created by e-residents. If there are no specific clauses related to specific grant, then it can be that my and Aet's company and your company can apply for the same grant, basically. And then the community, we are talking about community a lot, but Krunoslav is one of the good examples. He's an e-resident, but now he's here to help also other e-residents. We have seen new businesses growing up from e-residents who have met each other in some of our community events and so on as well. So it's additional value that hopefully you get out if you're an active member of the community of e-residents.
We've also seen a lot of new business ventures growing up from those community events. So e-residents meet and start collaborating.
Yeah, exactly. The company that was created as a world record, like the quickest company formation ever in the history, has been made by e-residents who found each other's and established a new business through the fact that they were both parts or even three people, they are part of the same community. So it happens. So we can compare Estonia with many other jurisdictions. Definitely, we are not the best ones in all of the categories. We are aware of that. Here is a short comparison table of some of the jurisdictions we consider to be also our competitors, in the sense that we're entrepreneurs quite often tend to choose to incorporate their company as a second homeland, let's say, for the business. And maybe some things that are good to point out is that once you are e-resident, the company establishment goes very quickly. It's basically a same day or next day. You do not have to hire a local director here. You are going to have a contact person, which I'm going to describe soon, but not a local director who does the business decisions for you. And then everything can be done digitally. And probably the most valuable thing is time and money connected to that, is that as everything can be done digitally, Estonia, as a small country, does not have too complicated tax and legal structure generally. Then time and money you need to spend on file your taxes and get your annual reports done is much shorter than in many other countries in the world. So basically, talking about the life cycle of Estonian company, the first part is registering, actually getting all the incorporation operations done. There, Xolo and the other similar companies are a big help for you. Then the running part, which is basically doing your everyday accounting, company management, the changes in business register if needed, using tax advice, etc. And then the growing part, which is like finding funding, finding new customers or business prospects, but also in case of, let's say, hiring to Estonia. So let's say that you decide also to have an office or a shop or warehouse or something else in Estonia, then we have a lot of resources to find out how to find and hire employees in Estonia. What are the other options to build a substance in Estonia for your Estonian business? Then generally, you're free to register your company yourself. It is possible to do it independently, and we have seen a lot of e-residents doing that. But the majority of e-resident companies are created in cooperation with corporate service providers like Xolo. So if your real operational address or the place where the business takes place is actually outside of Estonia, which is very likely in case of e-residents, then you need to appoint a contact person and define the legal address here in Estonia. So let's say in case of Estonia state needs to contact you or send you something on paper, which is usually not happening, but let's say sometimes it may happen, they need to hand over some kind of document for you, then your contact person is obliged to receive it, give the signature, and in the eyes of Estonian state, it's handed over. However, this contact person needs to send it for you where you actually are. So in case of Krunoslav, he will receive his materials to Berlin, probably. So the contact person is your local contact point for Estonian state, but at the same time, quite often also for private companies whose services you are using. For example, we have heard that sometimes bank cards from your fintech or bank will be sent to your Estonian address, and then the service provider forwards it to your real location. Please bear in mind that contact person is a service that cannot be provided by a random person. Like, don't write me in the LinkedIn that I would be your contact person. I can't, because it's a licensed business regulated by Estonian Financial Intelligence Unit. So these contact person service providers, Xolo or similar, they are going to do a KYC process for you. So they need to know what is your business about, what are your plans, in which jurisdictions you are going to have your business, and who are the owners, and so on, so on. So basically, they need to know who you are, what do you do, and they need to build a trustworthy relationship with you. So contact person is your contact point in Estonia, but you need to get to know each other before usually start using this service. So this is only service you actually have to have in Estonia, but at the same time, usually the same companies that provide contact person services are also able to help you with accounting, tax, legal advice to some extent at least, also help with company administration questions like if you need to make some changes in a commercial register about the company and so on. In order to make it easier to choose the service providers, we recommend to visit e-Residency Service Providers Marketplace, which is a subsection of our website, where all the service providers that have gone through our own vetting system are present there. You can filter out and find the ones that are most suitable for you. From contact person and accounting services to legal to hiring help, co-working spaces, accelerators. There are more than 150 different companies present, and then they are all our marketplace members. We have a direct contact and a good cooperation with them, so you can trust them. So we always recommend to start investigating from there what kind of service providers to choose. Now, as I mentioned, if you have Estonian company, even if you are e-resident, some additional opportunities will be open for you. For example, grants or support measures that you can take advantage of. So we have our own dedicated funding section on our website. We recommend to visit that. It's a place where we have gathered grants, accelerators, and also private funds that are working or should be suitable for e-residents, at least to some of them. So it's the most comprehensive database of these opportunities in English available here currently. So you can go and check out what kind of accelerators we are cooperating with, what are the support measures by Estonian Business and Innovation Agency, and so on. And this database is growing constantly. So just today I agreed that we are going to add a few options there as well. But it's not all at all. Definitely, there are some other options available in the market which are not here yet, but you can find independently as well. Now, somebody had a question about sole proprietor, which is not the case for e-residents, but all in all, most of the e-residents tend to choose private limited company or OÜ in Estonian. I recommend to start practicing the Estonian version. OÜ, very good exercise. So it doesn't matter to have one or several founders. Both are possible. Liability of the shareholders is limited. You can get it started online. Suitable different kind of companies, from startups to e-commerce companies to one-man show type of consultation businesses. And so on. And the share capital is basically non-existent. It's 1 euro. So usually most of the residents go with €1 to round it up. But in addition to that, you can also register non-profit if there is a plan to establish a legal entity that has a non-profit goal. It has to be compliant with the Estonian Non-Profit Associations Act. But all in all, it's possible also to have a cross-border international non-profit, but also public companies, partnerships, and other different business types. There are some costs that you cannot avoid, which are state fees of e-residency application, €150, and company registration, €265. In case of e-residency application, if there is a sad situation where you get denied, unfortunately, the money is not going to be paid back. Then the contact person prices may vary from 200 to 400 to even more than €1,000 a year, depending on the service provider and their main business vertical. So if this is a secondary business line for them, which they don't want to offer, maybe the price is higher. If there's a service provider for whom contact person is the main business, then they quite often do it cheaper just to have the bigger volume of customers. So, but quite often everything is packaged into one subscription fee. Like Xolo also show their plans, which already quite often include already contact person, accounting to some extent, and so on, so on. Accounting prices depend mostly on the number of transactions and the structure of the costs. Let's say if you have people hired, you have a payroll, then or you have an e-commerce business with thousands of invoices a month, then of course the prices are higher. If you have a few invoices a month and not so much going on in the beginning in business wise, then probably you can get accounting much cheaper. So a rough estimate is that the first year, if you do as much as possible independently, it's around 600-700 euros a year. And the double if you use the help of service providers with accounting support, and it can go up depending on your needs. Then again, comparing to many other Western European countries, I think still the costs are pretty reasonable. What we have heard and we have experienced ourselves is that actually the quality and the cost of professional business services in Estonia are pretty well balanced. So actually the costs are not too high, but the quality is good.
It all comes down to the decision. It's how much do you want to do yourself? How much brain power do you want to put into figuring out how to register a company, rather than focus on your core business, what you do really, really good, and let someone else handle the administrative part, which is where service providers can help you heaps.
Yes. Now, one of the hot questions usually is that what about business banking account? Is it a guaranteed thing when I open Estonian company? No, business banking account is never guaranteed. Even fintech account is never guaranteed. It's always the decision of the specific financial institution based on the information you have presented for them. Majority of e-resident companies choose fintech options for their everyday business banking. Usually e-resident companies do not need a lot of credit services or take a loan or something. So in that case, fintechs like Wise or Wamo, Revolut, Intergiro, Pacer, etc., similar institutions, they are good to go. You can open the account online. The costs are reasonable, and the choice which one to choose is pretty wide until they are the ones that are regulated also in the EU. Or European Economic Zone. Then the second option is a bank account in traditional Estonian bank. There are significant limitations you need to be aware of. To get the bank account in traditional brick and mortar type of Estonian bank, you first of all cannot avoid visit to Estonia. Because even if you are accepted online, then the account is actually really open after your visit to the bank office, showing yourself, your ID, giving signature, and so on. And the second thing is, in order to have an account in Estonian bank, you need to have a clear business ties to Estonia, which usually means that you have an office or people here, or a significant amount of partners or suppliers or business is related to Estonia. Or you have IP registered here, or something that ties your business mostly or strongly and clearly to Estonia, which is quite often not the case with e-residents. So just keep in mind. But once you have this, then it's quite likely you get your account in Estonia Bank as well. And the third option is if you have a good relations with any of the banks in some other European Economic Zone country. Let's say you are a seasoned business owner and you have already account for your several businesses in your homeland, then you can go to your home bank and ask whether they are okay opening an account for your Estonian company as well. And if they say yes on certain conditions, then that's perfectly fine legal wise to have it in your home bank as well.
One of the things that we've seen quite a lot is that e-residents, when they're starting their businesses, they start out with fintechs, and a couple of years into the business, when the business has grown, they've gotten customers and partners in Estonia, then they might apply for a Estonian bank account. And then they're more likely to get the account as well because they already have the ties. But it's absolutely fine to start with one solution and then move on to the next one. You grow with your business.
Yes, and the other thing we have seen a lot is that e-resident companies have accounts in several financial institutions, not only the one, but several ones. Here's a short comparison table. You can check similar thing from our website as well. So we have plenty of options on our website. Also payment gateway and payment processing options. So the ones that help you to set up card processing if you, I don't know, start selling in your web shop, or you build a SaaS product and you need to collect money through subscriptions, then Stripe is also among our partners, Payoneer, Decta, and some other providers as well. Now, I think it's a good time to ask some questions because you have submitted many of them. And then hopefully also our friends from Xolo and also Kronoslav maybe can help us.
Well, I have one question that's kind of for a starting entrepreneur. If starting my business or a company in Estonia seems a little bit too difficult, then is there any way to make it easier for me for e-residents? If it still seems difficult to register a company, can it be made easier? Can I answer that myself? Or
Yes,
do you want
please
to?
do answer.
So we actually, at e-Residency, we have knowledge base. And from there, you can find a lot of good information, like 5 steps how to register a company. And you get all this like background information you need to know when you want to register your business. It's written very like in an easy format. So it's step by step. This is where you can learn. But if you're more the kind of a person who wants to get the information very quickly, maybe in a consultation format, then I believe we have service providers who offer consultation as well, at least the initial consultation to like figure out how to get things started. And that's where the service providers offer a lot of value as well. They can help you register your business. You can focus on the core activity, what you do, rather than administration part.
Maybe Shade, would you like to give your perspective, like how does or whether Xolo helps the entrepreneurs who are in that kind of situation?
Absolutely. And actually, I just wanted to go in. Yes, we can help you, especially because people usually just get overwhelmed if they don't know where to find it. And actually, I can tell you because I had an e-residency as well that it's easy. Like the website, it's pretty easy to understand. But if you find it hard, then service providers usually can guide you on the right path. So we can let you know, especially for solo, we can tell you if the business it's a fit for the residency. I see that there are questions that are related to physical location and these kind of things. So we can guide you on the right path on what to do, where to consult, and help you to register the company through the website as well. And of course, like giving this service for address for the company and point of contact, as you mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm. Kronoslav, what would be your suggestion for those entrepreneurs who are still not sure, like in the, a lot of questions as a community member, how would you answer to that question?
I can say that there is really a lot of information available online, definitely. So you can always try to search for it. But also joining this like monthly Q&As, if you have some question, you can always go there and try to see and connect with other members of the community and maybe ask some more detailed personal questions to other e-residents so they can give you their own feedback or their own experience. That is also something that can be helpful. The community is strong. The community is big, it's growing, and I think people are always willing to help if they can.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple of questions related to AI companies as well and startups and best practices of AI startups. Definitely, AI is also one of the focus areas of Startup Estonia and the general government side of supporting startup ecosystem. So deep tech is definitely something that has been focused, and state is supporting programs that are created for empowering startups in that field as well. So definitely also there are growing amount of e-resident companies and e-resident startups that are dealing in that field. Now, there was also a question related to that balance innovation and social responsibility. It would be interesting to know a bit more of the background. What's the question about? But definitely, I have stumbled upon business ideas or startups that are in the process of development, where basically the accurateness of AI and the trustworthiness and making it most trustworthy is actually one of the key things. So what I would probably recommend is to check out the Estonian startup database. If you go and visit Startup Estonia website, there is a thing called Estonia Startup Database, where most of the startups registered in Estonia are available. So you can check their main business verticals, what they are doing, have they raised also investments and so on. So probably that would be the best source to find out some examples that are AI and social responsibility compared responsibly. Sorry, not connected responsibly.
We have very busy bees behind the screen answering
a
lot of questions.
Then there is a question also, probably I would like to answer live, is can a successful e-business which want to produce physical products with hard tech and IoT part ask to apply to come to Estonia and run the physical factory later? There are several different parts connected to that question. So if it falls under the category of startup, and the founders are outside of European Union, then yes, probably it makes sense to check out the opportunity to apply for startup visa. So if the product or the company has the characteristics of startup and the committee accepts the application, then it is possible to relocate the business to Estonia. And then the other part is this production. Then yes, Estonia current general approach to boosting the economy, which has been in a pretty bad situation in recent years, is to also activate the production here, to have more innovative, high-level, high additional value-creating production companies here, factories, test plants. So this is definitely something that's supported. Especially if it deals with, I don't know, to some extent sustainability, adding value to the minerals or something like that has really high potential. Then yes, there are in Estonian Business and Innovation Agency, there is also Invest Estonia side, which is dealing exactly with the investments that will be done potentially to the production companies. And also there are some regional support measures to support also new jobs in Estonia. So definitely worth thinking about all those options, startup visa, and then looking for the investment and support for investors. So there are definitely different options.
And even longer down the road, when your business grows and you're looking for export, there's supporting services and grants there as well. We had one question that where can a person find information about the business service partners in Estonia?
Well, of course, for the service providers, we recommend to go and start with the marketplace. We have some business consulting companies there as well. And also the service providers are able to help with that. But probably it also makes sense to think of your industry. So if you have industry-specific needs, then try to find the umbrella organizations or NGOs or companies that are on the same field and can consult and help you with something.
And since we are a digital environment, and e-services are online. There's a lot of information online as well. You can find information about different companies. We have a really good statistics website where you can find additional information. And there are even guides like how can you conduct due diligence to the partners that you want to work with. So there's a lot of visibility for businesses.
So, in order to maybe inspire you to ask more questions, we'll cover the last part of our presentations, which is a very, very broad overview of taxation of Estonian company. So, first thing is everything related to your personal taxes, income tax and etc. As also Aet already mentioned, becoming an e-resident as a private person does not change your personal tax residency. So if you are still residing in your homeland, then you are tax resident of your homeland based on what the local tax rules say. And even if you are going to be hired by your Estonian company and you still stay in your homeland, then your income taxes need to be declared where you are tax resident. So let's say if you are, I don't know, in France, Croatia, Turkey, Brazil, then this is the place where you need to deal with your personal taxation. E-residency does not change that. Unless you decide to relocate to Estonia, become the resident here, or you relocate here with the help of startup visa and so on. Now, corporate income tax, by default, your Estonian company is the tax resident, like a company tax resident in Estonia. So corporate income tax is declared where the company is registered, or in addition to that, the place where the permanent establishment is. So like by default, it's Estonia, your company in Estonia is Estonia tax resident, but it always depends on where the business actually takes place, where the work is done. So if majority of things take place in some other location, then it's likely that you have a permanent establishment there, and your local tax board would like to have this registered that way, and also taxes paid according to that. Again, we are not the tax expert here right now, so we always recommend to invest some time and a little bit of resources to consult with tax advisors to make it clear whether you have permanent establishment and tax obligations in other countries right away or not.
And here again, if you have not run an international business before, maybe dual taxation or permanent establishment are kind of new terms for you. We have a lot of information about those, like what are they, and some really simple examples in the knowledge base as well, and on our website. So you can start from our resources and dig deeper.
Yeah, there are like two long articles. One is tax basics in Estonia, and another one is the basics of cross-border taxation. And now recently, we have heard more about VAT, and thanks to Kronoslav and some other service providers about other types of taxations. I think our head of content just today also released additional thing about taxation in our blog.
So yeah, there are free resources, our website, our knowledge base, our blog, and also, of course, the websites and blogs of the service providers listed on Marketplace. They also have a lot of information.
Exactly. Now the social taxes are declared where employees are located and registered. So if your employees are in 3 different countries, then according to the rules in these countries where they are residents, and then the VAT, where probably OSS and IOSS schemes make it easier for online sellers. And in case of you are not online seller, then you need to consider exactly the rules that will be applicable for you. And also where you need to check whether you are subject of thresholds where you are obliged to have a VAT number in certain countries. Just to be clear once more about your taxes and your company taxes. So yes, in terms of your personal taxation, think of the tax residency where the personal income tax needs to be paid, you and your employees as well, and also social taxes and withholding taxes. And with your company, think of the company tax residency. In addition to Estonia, it could be in somewhere else as well, because you have a permanent establishment. You are strongly located in several locations. Maybe you have offices even in different countries. There are a lot of double taxation avoidance treaties that Estonia has signed throughout the history. So you shouldn't be double taxed for the same thing several times. So thanks to those treaties and well thought through like taxation schemes with the help of the tax advisors, you can figure it out. And think of also corporate income tax as well. Now, yes, as said, Estonian company by default is Estonian tax resident, but as said, it depends on where the activities and in which capacity takes place in different locations. And being Estonian tax resident as a company does not free your company to tax liabilities in other countries. If there are, they need to be paid. There are more than 60 double taxation treaties that Estonia has signed, definitely most of the European Union countries, but also a lot of countries outside of Europe as well. So our main suggestion is to talk to tax advisors. Your Estonian service provider is usually able to help you with everything related to Estonian part and also cross-border to some extent, depending on the service providers. But they are probably not an experts of tax laws in your local country. So for that, we always recommend you think of local tax advisors who at the same time are aware of cross-border taxation issues as well.
I would like to promote our Estonian tax office here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that sometimes people are afraid of the tax office, that if you do something wrong, you will be punished with like fines if you file something wrong. In Estonia, the tax office is really friendly. They answer to you quickly. You can contact them via email or via their e-services. Usually you get answers like very, very quickly, and they do aim to educate you and help you. So everything related to Estonian taxation, do not be hesitated to contact the tax office. They are friendly and they're here to help.
Maybe some things about the taxes or some numbers now as well is that probably the thing that is the most widely promoted is that there is no corporate income tax in Estonia. This is not true in the sense that corporate income tax exists, but it can be deferred until the money is reinvested in the company, which means that from the moment you start paying out dividends, you need to pay corporate income tax. It may change next year, but there are legal, legislation may change, but it's still the process. Currently, the scheme that has been in place for many years is still existing. So by default, until the money is kept in the company, you do not have to pay corporate income tax, except the permanent establishment case. But it may or may not change. It's currently not 100% sure. Now, if you start distributing dividends, then the corporate income tax is 22%. Regarding VAT for sales in Estonia, it's 22%, and it will be 24% since July this year. There is a threshold, 40,000 euros a yearly turnover earned in Estonian transactions. If you go above that, you need to register a VAT. If you are below that, no need, and probably even recommended not to have it. Especially if you do not have any business in Estonia. Then there is a EU-wide 100,000 euro threshold for turnover within EU to simplify the VAT processes and also OSS and IOSS regimes. And all of this can be very well answered by Kronoslav, hopefully, if someone has any questions. And what's the beauty of it is that you don't need to visit any tax office to make to do the declarations. Everything can be done and paid online. And as said, our tax authorities are friendly until you are also open to their questions and comments. One thing that was kind of asked here as well in the context of Netherlands. So sometimes people ask that how to build a substance in Estonia or how to be more strongly connected to Estonia. That makes sense tax-wise. So the main ways, of course, would be to have a people here or to rent the office here, have a production here, or store your goods in Estonia. Also, if your business is digital or more related to the intellectual property and assets, it may be helpful to register or relocate them to your Estonian company. It's also an option to relocate yourself or part of your team to Estonia. Startup visa for those who are outside of EU is the option, for example. Becoming a digital nomad, and depending also on your local tax laws, then in some cases we have understood that holding and also documenting very precisely board meetings held in Estonia can also be beneficial in terms of proving the connections between Estonia and your company that is registered in Estonia. So you can read more from our website where there is article about it as well. Now, some more questions, maybe also for our lovely guests.
Not that many questions on taxation that haven't been answered in written form already.
I have a question.
Yes.
You are, of course, tax expert yourself, but what has been your way to figure out what are your obligations and what are not, or how to, if there's a first-time cross-border entrepreneur registering a company in Estonia through e-Residency, what would be your go-to recommendations for him or her, how to figure out the main things?
It depends on what kind of taxes you are interested. So if you are interested about income tax or corporate tax, I suggest to go through the accounting partner. It's much easier. It's like, let's say, for example, Solo, they are really amazing. The team is great. They will always help you and give you as much as possible information. And I think that's the best way how to do it. When it comes to VAT, for example, when it comes to your sales and figuring out where you really need to tax individual transaction, that can become a little bit more complex because there is a lot of things that you would need to be aware to know exactly how to tax individual transaction. So for that, you can try to investigate or research a little bit online, or you can try to find a partner like EVAT and ask for specific cases where you will get then exact answers on the case-by-case basis. So it's always important, what exactly do you want to know and what kind of taxes are you interested in. So there are different types of service providers or resources that you can reach. But I think it's the best way is ask people that are experts, people that are already longer in this, because it can save you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Question, maybe the similar question to Xolo as well, like when there's a new company registered and a new fresh e-resident coming in and asking the questions, okay, what about the taxes and how to not start running in the wrong direction, like what are your main recommendations or tools or checklist what they should do or know or talk about?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, I see one question in the Q&A. But first, it's check first where you are, like in your country. Check with a local advisor if there are going to be any risk for establishing a company and operating from that country. That's like the main thing if you are not a digital nomad. So that's like the first thing that you need to know, because sometimes countries can, like put a bit of a barrier and everybody wants to collect taxes. So that it's important. So after that, then what is your business model? What do you want to sell? Are you going to offer services or digital support or physical goods? especially I want to take a case that it's in the Q&A that it's talking about drop shipping. Drop shipping has a lot of rules, especially when you are working inside Europe, outside Europe, not at all in Europe. So there are kind of a lot of questions regarding that. So first, check with the service providers in Estonia, so us, for example. And then VAT, it's a really great deal in this kind of cases. So if VAT can help you as well. But yes, like it depends also in the kind of business. And then from that, everything goes smoothly because those are like the main things.
Mhm. There are several questions about taxation for digital nomads. Xolo is, I believe,
Yeah.
hosting a lot of companies by digital nomads. How to figure out taxation in that case?
That's actually a great question because, first of all, your own taxes. I mean, for Estonia, everything is going to be handled by us if you are our client. So that it's pretty straightforward and easy to know. On the digital nomad part, it depends a lot of your citizenship, your place of recurrent, where you are most, the most around the year. So these things are going to affect where you're going to pay taxes if you need to pay taxes anywhere. But mostly digital nomads when they are like, I don't know, 2 months in each country and they are trotting around the world, do not have a country base, so they don't need to pay taxes anywhere normally. Okay, but yeah, there are countries, I don't know, like well, I forgot, maybe, I don't know, like Holland, that they, even if you're a digital nomad and but you are a tax resident there, then you need to pay taxes there. So that is one of the things you need to know if because of your citizenship or where you are going or how long are you going to spend in certain countries, you need to pay something there. Check with a local advisor just to, get your doubts out of your head. And if there are no obligations, then you're practically free.
Mhm. Yes, maybe one more recommendation. There was a question that how to figure out. There are some companies out in the market that have purely focused on taxation of digital nomads. There is one that's actually created by e-residents called Heaven, like the heaven, like the sky, but with the two N characters in the end, Heaven. So try to Google it. But there are several other similar businesses out there as well. We are going to wrap up soon, I believe. I still have a couple of things. Now, if you're joining us from Latin America currently, then as said, we have now two new pickup locations there. And the good news is that the e-residency team, in cooperation with some of the service providers, Startup Estonia, and with some Work in Estonia probably as well, and with some other partners, are going to have a Latin American roadshow. So if you are joining us from Chile, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, or Mexico, we are going to have either our own events or we are participating in some other bigger startup and tech events in the region. So come and say hi, ask more questions. I know that in Rio Web Summit, there will be definitely more than a few people from our team present there. Also, I think hosting event stage there. So this is definitely something to check out. And another thing, if you are a startup founder, and you are thinking of getting to know better Estonian startup ecosystem, then we have a third time our lovely study trip coming up. So this is a thing that this is a one-day event we are organizing just a few days before Latitude 59, which is the biggest and the most influential startup conference in Estonia. And basically, it's recognized as one of the best startup conferences in the whole Europe. Not huge in terms of number of people, but it's very high value and very friendly and nice conference here in the sunny Tallinn. So if you are thinking or planning to come to Latitude, or even if you haven't planned it yet, then think about it. And on 21st of May 2025, so it's a one day before Latitude, we are going to have our own founders ecosystem study trip, which is focused on startup founders that are e-residents or even are not yet, but thinking about it. So it's a one-day program where you are all together to meet accelerators, learn what are the options they are providing. Maybe also Startup Estonia people are there, and then hear about the investment landscape, hear the stories of investors, giving the recommendations or just introducing how it works in Estonia. Then real e-resident startup founder stories, like similar like Krunoslav shared today. As I'm in the organizing team, I already know some names, and I'm really recommend that we really have a good e-residents this year to talk about their experience. And also, as Estonia is a land of unicorns, there are 10 unicorns that have grown out some way from Estonia. There will be visit to some of them, at least one of them. So it's possible to hear the stories and ask the questions from one of the unicorns where are also e-residents among founders. So it's application based, so we are not able to accept everyone. If you get the materials, click the link, send your application, and later you will get some additional questions about your business and your startup idea, and maybe you can join us.
And quite often around Latitude, we have community events led by us
Yes.
and led by community themselves as well. So it's a great place if you're coming to Estonia to meet new community members.
I think in the same evening, 21st of May, there is also a huge community event. And this is annually already many years have been the biggest gathering of e-residents globally, that hundreds of e-residents all around the world come to Tallinn to meet each other, to find new business opportunities in the ecosystem. So think about it. And to wrap it up, what happens next? Please give us a feedback. You get the slides, check them, talk to Xolo, eVAT, and other service providers if you need to and want to. Join our official groups in Facebook and Reddit. Follow us in the social media. And what's the most important thing? Apply for e-residency and start your company. From the QR code, you can already start finding and downloading your slides. But all in all, we'd like to say big thanks for you. It was a pleasure to meet you all. I hope that it was useful for you, and hopefully one way or another we meet someday here in the e-residency community. Good afternoon. Thank you for Shade and Krunoslav also for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.